presented by Soundlibra.com. Explore more titles via the link in the description or at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to the Deeper Life Blueprint. Let's explore true living.
We're starting by exploring that subtle, persistent hum of just existing. Not truly living, but going through the motions. Real quick before we start, since we're discussing wellness and mental health, just a heads up that this isn't medical advice. Definitely consult a professional for your specific needs. We're calling this episode Beyond the Existential Hum because that's exactly what we aim to do. Move past that feeling and towards something more vibrant.
This podcast is about discovering and cultivating what we call true living. It's about moving beyond surface-level activities and connecting with a sense of purpose and aliveness. Think of it as building a blueprint, not just for a busier life, but for a richer, more meaningful one.
And Alex, when we talk about true living, what are we contrasting it with? What does that shallow pursuit look like for most people?
That's a crucial question. Shallow pursuits are activities that feel busy but lack substance. They can be a constant stream of notifications, endlessly scrolling, or focusing solely on external validation, like a promotion at work that doesn't align with your values, or accumulating possessions without finding joy in them. These keep us occupied but don't nourish our inner selves.
So, it's not about being lazy or unproductive, but about the quality of our engagement?
Exactly. True living is about intentionality. It's about making conscious choices that align with our deepest values and contribute to fulfillment. It's about engaging with the world and with ourselves authentically and alive. Conversely, shallow pursuits involve reactivity. We're just responding to external stimuli without a clear internal compass.
I can really relate to that. It's easy to get swept up in the current of what everyone else is doing or what seems to be expected, rather than pausing to ask, does this truly resonate with me?
Precisely. And that pause, that moment of reflection, is the very first step toward true living. So, for this series, we're going to embark on a journey together. We'll be exploring various facets of building this deeper, more intentional life. We'll excavate your inner landscape, learn to distinguish what truly matters from what merely distracts, and then explore practical ways to cultivate this deeper life.
It sounds like a comprehensive exploration. You mentioned excavating our inner landscape. Can you expand on what that means in this context?
Think of your inner landscape as everything that makes you, you, your thoughts, your emotions, your values, your beliefs, your experiences. It's the internal world we often neglect in our haste to meet external demands. Excavating, it means learning to look within, to understand your own patterns, your sources of joy, and your areas of pain. It's about self-awareness, which is the bedrock of intentional living.
So, instead of just reacting to the world, we're learning to understand the inner operating system that's driving those reactions?
That's a fantastic analogy. It's like understanding the software that runs your life. When you understand the code, you can make intentional changes to improve its performance and create a more fulfilling experience. We'll be looking at practices that help you gain this inner clarity.
And after we understand our inner landscape, the next step is distinguishing true living from shallow pursuits. How do we practically do that? It seems like a very subjective thing.
It can feel subjective, and that's part of the beauty and challenge. We'll offer frameworks and exercises to help you develop your own discerning taste for what constitutes true living for you. It's not about adopting someone else's definition, but about honing your own inner sense of what brings you alive. We'll explore identifying your core values, recognizing activities that drain your energy versus those that replenish it, and making conscious choices to prioritize the former.
So, it's like developing a personal filter for life's activities.
A personal filter, yes, and it's a filter that gets stronger with practice. This series is designed to be a blueprint, a step-by-step guide. Each episode will build upon the last, offering tools and insights to help you construct a life that feels genuinely yours. We'll be talking about cultivating sacred spaces, embracing contemplative practices, unlocking your creative reservoir, reconnecting with nature, building community, aligning with your purpose, crafting your deeper life through intention, and establishing daily rituals for radical aliveness.
That's a lot to look forward to. And it sounds like it's not just about achieving some lofty goal, but about the ongoing process of living more fully, right?
Absolutely. This isn't a quick fix. It's a practice, a way of being in the world. We'll also touch on navigating challenges that arise and sustaining momentum because there will be bumps in the road. The goal is to create a legacy of living that is authentic and impactful, a blueprint for your own deeper life.
It's about moving from merely existing, from that existential hum, to truly living. It's about intention, awareness, and conscious creation of a meaningful life.
Exactly. So, are you ready to start building your deeper life blueprint?
I am. And I hope our listeners are too.
Next episode, we'll begin excavating your inner landscape. Welcome back to the Deeper Life Blueprint. Last time, we explored that subtle, sometimes unsettling existential hum. Today, we're diving deep, literally, into excavating our inner landscape.
That's right, Alex. If episode 1 was about acknowledging that underlying feeling, that sense that there might be more to life than what we're currently experiencing, then episode 2 is our call to action. We're rolling up our sleeves and getting to know what's inside.
Absolutely, Lisa. Think of your inner landscape as the ultimate, uncharted territory. It's the foundation upon which all our experiences are built. Without a clear understanding of what lies within, our core values, our deeply held beliefs, our recurring patterns of thought and behavior, we're essentially navigating life with a faulty map.
And that faulty map leads to mistaking the mundane for the meaningful, doesn't it? We can get so caught up in the day-to-day that we lose sight of what truly matters to us. So, how do we even begin to excavate this inner landscape? It sounds vast.
It can feel vast, but like any significant undertaking, it starts with focused attention. The first crucial step is cultivating self-awareness. This isn't just about knowing your favorite color or what you had for breakfast. It's about understanding the deeper currents that shape your decisions and your reactions.
So, self-awareness is like having an internal compass. It helps us understand why we do what we do, and more importantly, whether what we're doing is truly aligned with who we are.
Precisely. And to develop this self-awareness, we need to start examining our core values. What principles are non-negotiable for you? What do you stand for, even when no one is watching? These aren't things you typically find on a to-do list, but they're the bedrock of your identity.
That's a great point. I think many of us operate on assumed values, either inherited or picked up along the way, without ever consciously identifying them. How can listeners identify their core values?
Great question. A simple, yet powerful exercise is to think about moments in your life when you felt most proud, most alive, or most deeply fulfilled. What was happening in those moments? What actions were you taking? What qualities were you embodying? The answers often point directly to your core values. Alternatively, consider times when you felt deeply frustrated or angry. What unmet need or violated principle was at play?
So, reflecting on peak experiences, both positive and negative, can reveal what's truly important to us. That's very insightful. What about beliefs? How do they fit into this inner landscape?
Beliefs are like the operating system of your inner world. They are the assumptions you hold about yourself, about others, and about the world around you. Many of these beliefs are formed early in life and can operate on an unconscious level, shaping your perception and influencing your actions.
Ah, the unconscious beliefs. Those are tricky. I imagine we might have beliefs that are no longer serving us, perhaps even holding us back.
Exactly. For instance, a belief like, I'm not good enough can sabotage efforts to pursue new opportunities or build healthy relationships. Excavating means identifying these beliefs, questioning their validity, and intentionally replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. We need to ask ourselves, is this belief truly serving me? Is it grounded in reality? Or is it a story I've been telling myself?
So, it's a process of both uncovering and then consciously renovating. And beyond values and beliefs, we mentioned patterns. What kind of patterns are we looking for?
We're talking about behavioral patterns, thought patterns, even emotional patterns. Do you find yourself in the same types of difficult situations repeatedly? Do you react to stress in the same predictable way? Do certain anxieties or fears seem to cling to you no matter what? These patterns are often signals from our inner landscape, indicating areas that need attention.
It's like a recurring theme in a song, but one that's perhaps a bit dissonant. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to changing them.
Yes, it's about moving from unconscious repetition to conscious choice. For example, if you notice a pattern of procrastination, self-awareness allows you to ask why you procrastinate. Is it fear of failure? Perfectionism? Lack of clarity? Once you understand the root, you can begin to address it rather than just fighting the symptom.
This really underlines the importance of being a detective of our own inner lives. It's not always comfortable, but it seems absolutely essential for distinguishing true living from just going through the motions.
It is. And to facilitate this excavation, contemplative practices are incredibly valuable. Things like mindfulness meditation, journaling, and even deep introspection can create the quiet space needed to observe these internal workings. Mindfulness, for instance, trains you to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing you to see the patterns emerge with greater clarity.
Journaling could be like taking notes during your inner excavation. Writing things down helps to articulate and solidify what you're discovering.
Precisely. And the beauty of this process is that it's not about achieving some perfect finished state. It's an ongoing exploration. Each discovery, each unearthed belief or pattern provides a richer understanding of yourself. This deeper self-knowledge is the foundation for making authentic choices that align with who you truly are.
So, to recap for our listeners, excavating your inner landscape involves cultivating self-awareness. This means identifying your core values by reflecting on significant life moments. It involves examining your beliefs, especially those that might be limiting, and consciously choosing empowering ones. And it means recognizing your recurring patterns of thought, behavior, and emotion so you can move from unconscious repetition to conscious choice.
Exactly, Lisa. This is the bedrock, the essential groundwork for distinguishing between true living and mere existence. It's about building a life that is not just busy, but meaningful.
And this all directly builds on that existential hum we discussed last time. By understanding our inner landscape, we can begin to address the root causes of that hum and move towards a more authentic way of being.
Indeed, this excavation process is crucial. It's about understanding your own internal terrain before you can hope to build anything lasting or truly fulfilling upon it. So, I encourage everyone listening to start asking those deeper questions of yourselves. Who am I really? What do I truly value? What beliefs are shaping my reality?
It sounds like the work of a lifetime, but a deeply rewarding one. We're getting to the core of what it means to live truly.
That's the aim. And in our next episode, we'll take these discoveries and explore the art of distinguishing true living from shallow pursuits. We'll look at how understanding your inner landscape helps you make conscious choices about how you spend your time and energy.
That sounds like a very practical and exciting next step. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Lisa. And thank you to our listeners. Next episode, the art of distinguishing true living versus shallow pursuits. Welcome back. Last time we covered excavating your inner landscape. Now let's tackle the art of distinguishing.
That's right, Alex. We've dug within ourselves, and now we need to figure out what we're finding. Are we nurturing genuine growth, or are we just keeping busy with fleeting distractions? This episode is all about gaining clarity on how we spend our precious time and energy.
Exactly. Think about it, Lisa. So many of us are caught in an endless cycle of to-dos, notifications, and fleeting entertainment. We feel busy, but are we truly alive? This isn't about judging ourselves, but about becoming more aware. We need to learn to distinguish between activities that feed our soul and those that merely drain it.
And how do we start doing that? It feels like a huge task when everything seems to demand our attention.
It can be, but we can break it down. Let's start by defining what we mean by true living versus shallow pursuits. True living, at its core, is about engagement with what truly matters to you. It's about activities that bring a sense of fulfillment, purpose, and deep connection. These are the things that make you feel aligned with your values and your authentic self.
So, it's less about being passive and more about being actively involved in things that resonate deeply. Like learning a new skill that genuinely excites you, or spending quality time with loved ones without distractions.
Precisely. And these activities often involve some level of effort, concentration, or emotional investment. They might not always be easy, but they leave you feeling richer, more whole. Now, shallow pursuits, on the other hand, are often characterized by their superficiality and lack of lasting impact. They might provide temporary distraction or pleasure, but they don't contribute to our long-term well-being or growth.
I can think of a few of those. Endless scrolling on social media, binge watching shows just to fill time, or engaging in gossip that doesn't serve anyone. These activities can feel like they're filling a void, but they often leave us feeling more empty afterward.
You've hit the nail on the head. These are often comfort zones, easily accessible dopamine hits that require minimal effort and offer no real substance. They can create a feeling of urgency and busyness without any actual progress towards a meaningful life. So, the first step is recognizing this fundamental difference.
Okay, so we recognize the difference. Then what? Do we just cut out everything that falls into the shallow category?
Not necessarily. It's about finding balance and making conscious choices. We can frame this by asking ourselves a few key questions when evaluating our activities. The first question is, does this activity align with my core values?
That's a good one. If my core value is connection, then spending an hour texting superficial updates to acquaintances might be a shallow pursuit. But an hour spent in deep conversation with a close friend would be true living.
Exactly. The second question is, does this activity contribute to my growth or learning? True living often involves expanding our horizons, acquiring new knowledge, or developing our skills. Think about reading a challenging book that expands your perspective or practicing a musical instrument.
So, mindlessly consuming content that doesn't make me think critically would fall into the shallow category, while actively seeking out documentaries or articles that spark my curiosity would be true living.
You're getting it. The third question, does this activity bring me a sense of genuine fulfillment or joy, not just temporary distraction? True living activities often bring a sense of deep satisfaction, even after the activity is over. This is different from a fleeting pleasure of, say, eating unhealthy snacks mindlessly.
I see. That sense of lasting satisfaction is key. It's like the difference between the quick sugar rush from candy and the sustained energy and contentment you get from a nourishing meal.
That's a perfect analogy. And a fourth question, does this activity leave me feeling more energized or depleted? Activities that truly nourish us tend to leave us feeling uplifted and ready for more, even if they require effort. Shallow pursuits often leave us feeling drained, uninspired, or even guilty.
It's like the difference after a deep, meaningful conversation versus after an hour of passive scrolling. One energizes, the other drains.
Absolutely. So, to recap these distinguishing tools, first, Does it align with your core values? Second, does it contribute to your growth or learning? Third, does it bring genuine fulfillment or joy? And fourth, does it leave you feeling energized, not depleted?
And we should apply these questions to our daily routines, our hobbies, even our work. It's about being honest with ourselves.
Yes, honesty is crucial. This isn't about being perfect, but about making incremental shifts. We can start by identifying just one or two shallow pursuits that we'd like to consciously reduce, and then intentionally make time for one or two true living activities. It's about gradually shifting the balance.
So, instead of just letting time slip away, we can become more intentional. We can schedule things that truly matter to us, just like we schedule important appointments.
Precisely. Think of it as curating your life. Are you passively letting things happen to you, or are you actively choosing what to engage with? This art of distinguishing is fundamental to building a deeper, more meaningful life. It helps us move beyond just existing to truly living.
It's almost like a personal filter for our time and attention. We're not just consuming life, we're choosing what we want to ingest and digest.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, this is a practice. There will be days when we slip back into old habits, and that's okay. The point is to keep returning to these questions, to keep making conscious choices, and to keep tending to those activities that genuinely nourish our souls. So, as you go through your week, I encourage you to try asking yourself these four questions about a few of your daily activities. See what emerges.
It's about becoming the architect of our own experience, rather than just being a bystander. This distinction is so vital for creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
Indeed, we've covered the importance of distinguishing between true, living, and shallow pursuits, and we've introduced four powerful questions to help you in this process. Remember, it's about aligning with your values, fostering growth, seeking genuine fulfillment, and maintaining your energy. These are the hallmarks of a deeper, richer life. Next episode, we'll explore how to cultivate sacred spaces for connection, building further on this foundation of mindful living. Welcome back. Last time we covered excavating our inner landscape. Today, let's cultivate sacred spaces for connection.
That's right, Alex. We've spent time looking inward. Now we're exploring how those inner discoveries translate into the relationships we build and nurture. It's about moving from our personal inner world to the shared world we create with others.
Exactly, because a truly rich life isn't lived in isolation. It's in the vibrant tapestry of our connections, where we can share our authentic selves and experience genuine belonging. Think about it. Lisa, are the most meaningful moments in your life solitary or shared?
Definitely shared. The laughter and support with friends, the deep conversations with family, even the quiet companionship with a loved one, those are the moments that truly nourish the soul. It highlights how fundamental connection is to our well-being.
So, how do we cultivate these sacred spaces? It starts with intention. Just like we learn to intentionally explore our inner landscape, we need to be intentional about the quality of connection we seek and offer. This means moving beyond the superficial.
Ah, the superficial. That's so easy to fall into, isn't it? Small talk, scrolling through social media, interacting without true presence. It's like a quick, unsatisfying snack instead of a nourishing meal.
Precisely. Superficial interactions offer a temporary distraction, but they don't build depth or lasting resonance. Sacred spaces for connection are built on authenticity and presence. It's about showing up as our true selves with all our imperfections and allowing others to do the same.
This reminds me of what we discussed in earlier episodes, Alex. Our inner state profoundly influences our outer interactions. If we're guarded or inauthentic internally, it will inevitably show up in our relationships, creating a barrier.
You've hit on a crucial point, Lisa. The authenticity we cultivated looking inward is the very foundation for authentic connection outward. If you're holding back parts of yourself, are you truly connecting or just presenting a curated version?
And that curated version is exhausting to maintain, and it prevents others from truly knowing us, and us from truly knowing them. So, cultivating these sacred spaces is about allowing vulnerability, right?
Absolutely. Vulnerability is the gateway. It's not about oversharing or complaining, but about having the courage to be seen, to express our true feelings, our hopes, and even our fears in a safe environment. This creates a reciprocal exchange of trust.
So, a sacred space for connection isn't necessarily a physical place, but rather a relational environment where authenticity and vulnerability are welcomed and respected. It's a feeling, a dynamic between people.
Exactly. And it thrives on active listening. How often do we truly listen to understand, rather than just waiting for our turn to speak? Active listening involves giving our full attention, not interrupting, and seeking to grasp the other person's perspective.
I know I'm guilty of planning my response while someone else is talking. Active listening means putting our own agenda aside for a moment to genuinely hear and acknowledge the other person. It's a powerful act of respect.
It truly is. And building on active listening, we have empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It's putting yourself in their shoes, not necessarily to fix their problem, but to simply understand their experience.
So, to recap what we've discussed so far, cultivating sacred spaces for connection involves intention, authenticity, vulnerability, and active listening. All of these create an environment for empathy to flourish.
Precisely. And when we have these qualities, we can move beyond shallow pursuits and start building truly meaningful relationships. These are relationships not based on convenience or transaction, but on mutual respect, care, and shared values.
These are the relationships that sustain us through challenging times and amplify our joys. They become a source of strength, wisdom, and profound belonging. It shifts connection from being a pleasant addition to life to being a core element of it.
And intentionally nurturing such connections requires effort. It means scheduling time, being present, and being willing to do the work of understanding and being understood. It's an investment with immeasurable returns.
It also means setting boundaries, doesn't it? Because not all connections are healthy or life affirming. A sacred space needs to feel safe for both parties.
That's an excellent point, Lisa. Boundaries are essential for maintaining the health and integrity of any relationship. They define what is acceptable and what is not, ensuring that the space remains respectful and reciprocal. Without healthy boundaries, a space can quickly become unbalanced or even harmful.
So, it's about discerning which connections uplift us and contribute to our deeper life, and which might drain us or pull us away from our authenticity. It's about choosing to invest our energy in relationships that help us grow.
Yes, it's about quality over quantity. A few deeply connected souls are far more valuable than a large network of acquaintances. These are the people with whom we can truly explore life's complexities and celebrate its wonders.
And this makes me think about how these connections can actually amplify our sense of purpose, which we'll be diving into more in later episodes. When we feel seen and supported, we're often more empowered to pursue what truly matters to us.
Absolutely. Our community, our chosen family, can provide the encouragement and perspective we need to align with our deepest intentions. They become mirrors reflecting back our potential and allies in our journey.
So, moving from our inner work to our outer connections, we've emphasized intention, authenticity, vulnerability, active listening, empathy, and healthy boundaries as the building blocks for these sacred spaces.
And the result is relationships that are not just pleasant, but transformative. They offer a profound sense of belonging and are a cornerstone of a life lived truly and deeply. These connections are not just about sharing life, but about enriching it in every possible way, echoing the importance of our inner state from previous episodes.
So, what can listeners do this week to start cultivating their own sacred spaces for connection?
I encourage you to identify one relationship where you can practice deeper presence and authenticity. Perhaps it's a partner, a close friend, or even a family member. Make a conscious effort to listen more than you speak, to be open and receptive. And remember to be kind to yourself throughout this process.
And don't forget the power of small, consistent efforts. It's not about grand gestures, but the daily practice of showing up for each other in meaningful ways.
Indeed, the foundations of truly living are built one genuine connection at a time. We've explored the vital importance of intentional, authentic, and empathetic connections in creating sacred spaces that nourish our souls and enhance our lives. Next episode, we'll be embracing contemplative practices for a quieter, more intentional existence. Welcome back to the Deeper Life Blueprint. Today, we're embracing contemplative practices.
Contemplative practices. Building on that self awareness, this episode is about finding stillness and silence to connect with ourselves.
Exactly. In our always-on world, it's easy to get caught up in the noise. Contemplative practices are our deliberate antidote. They're about creating space for reflection, for simply being.
So, it's not about emptying your mind, which I've always found impossible.
That's a common misconception. The core idea is shifting your relationship with your thoughts and surroundings. It's about cultivating a deeper awareness, a quiet revolution within. Think of your mind as a bustling city street. Contemplative practices are like finding a quiet park bench to observe the chaos without being swept away.
I like that analogy. A park bench, observing, not participating in the frantic rush. So, what practices are we talking about?
They often revolve around attention, presence, and stillness. Mindfulness is a key one. Mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment, non-judgmentally. It can be as simple as focusing on your breath for a few minutes.
Just breathing? That seems incredibly basic.
It is, and that's its power. When we focus on our breath, we anchor ourselves to the here and now. We notice the inhale, the exhale. Our minds will wander. That's what minds do. With mindfulness, we gently bring our attention back. This trains our attention muscle.
So, it's like mental exercise? Training yourself to come back to the present instead of getting lost in worries or regrets.
Precisely. This ability to return to the present moment is foundational. It quiets internal chatter. Meditation is another powerful practice. While mindfulness can be part of it, meditation often involves more focused attention. Some meditations focus on a single object, a mantra, or cultivating feelings like compassion.
A mantra, like a word or phrase you repeat.
Yes, exactly. Repeating a word or phrase can anchor the mind. But it's not about forcing it. It's about allowing the mantra to be a gentle focus. The goal is calm awareness, not necessarily perfect stillness. These practices help us discern what's important by giving us space to reflect.
That makes sense. When we're constantly reacting, we often go with the loudest urge, not necessarily what aligns with our deeper values. Contemplation gives us that pause.
Absolutely. There's also contemplative prayer in many traditions. This isn't about reciting words, but cultivating a silent inner dialogue or resting in divine presence. The intention is to listen, to be open to wisdom.
It sounds like, regardless of the technique, the common thread is creating a sacred space for deeper connection.
You've hit the nail on the head. Cultivating contemplative practices creates pockets of stillness. It's about stepping away from external pressures and turning inward. Even 5 or 10 minutes a day can make a difference. It's about reframing your relationship with time and yourself.
So, for someone feeling overwhelmed, where should they start?
Start with the breath. Find a quiet spot for 2 minutes. Close your eyes, if comfortable, and just notice your breath. Feel the air coming in and out. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Gently bring your attention back to your breath. That's mindfulness in its simplest form, a building block for other contemplative practices.
Just noticing the breath. No special equipment, no complex instructions.
Exactly. As you get comfortable, explore guided meditations. Countless free resources can lead you through short sessions. These guided practices are incredibly helpful when starting out.
It's like having a gentle guide showing you the way to that quiet park bench.
That's a perfect way to put it. And remember, it's about consistent practice, however small. By embracing these contemplative practices, we quiet the existential hum and open ourselves to a deeper experience of life. We learn to be truly present, not just going through the motions. This stillness allows us to hear our inner wisdom, connect with our authentic selves, and live with greater intention and peace.
So, to recap, we've talked about mindfulness for anchoring ourselves in the present with our breath, meditation for focused attention, and other contemplative practices for listening. The key is creating intentional space for stillness, even for a few minutes each day.
That's a great summary, Lisa. These practices are fundamental to living a deeper life because they allow us to move beyond mere reactions and engage with life from a place of awareness and calm. They are the quiet revolution that can transform our experience of living.
It really feels like a powerful step in truly living rather than just existing.
It is, and the journey continues. Next time, we'll be unlocking your creative reservoir. Next episode, unlocking your creative reservoir. Welcome back to the Deeper Life Blueprint. Last time, we embraced contemplative practices. Now, let's unlock your creative reservoir.
I think many people hear creativity and think only for artists, but you've said it's much more.
Exactly. Creativity is an inherent human capacity, a vital force for innovation and a richer life. It's how we move beyond the existential hum we discussed previously.
So, if it's inherent, why does it feel locked away for so many?
We often connect creativity only to finished products. Past criticism or fear of judgment can shut down our willingness to explore and experiment. These are creativity's worst enemies.
It's like building a wall around it for protection.
Yes, but creativity thrives on exploration, not perfection. Think of it like a muscle. Regular exercise makes it stronger. Your creative reservoir is a wellspring within you, always waiting.
How do we begin to access this wellspring? How do we build that creative muscle?
First, reframe your understanding. Creativity is approaching any task with an innovative mindset, asking what if and how else. It's in how you organize your kitchen or solve a work problem.
So, it's about intention and perspective.
Precisely. A powerful way to start is generative play. Engage in activities without a goal for the joy of exploration. Doodle, improvise with words, experiment with movement. Focus on the process, not the outcome.
Generative play. That sounds like it takes the pressure off.
It absolutely does. Another technique is to actively seek novelty. Break your routines. Take a different route. Listen to new music. Try a new recipe. These shifts jolt your mind into new ways of thinking.
We get so comfortable in our habits, we stop seeing new possibilities.
Indeed. Also, practice observation. Become attuned to the world. Notice details you overlook. What are the textures, sounds, subtle interactions? This heightened awareness fuels imagination.
It's like being a detective of the everyday.
A wonderful analogy. And remember those contemplative practices from the last episode? They are powerful allies to creativity. Quieting internal chatter creates space for new ideas to emerge. Insights often arrive when our minds wander.
So, the stillness from the last episode helps unlock creative thinking.
Precisely. It's all connected. Being present and observant, engaging in playful exploration, and breaking rigid patterns all converge to unlock your creative reservoir.
This deeper life is so integrated. It's not just one thing.
Exactly. Now, overcoming the fear of judgment. Cultivate self-compassion and create a safe space for experimentation. Treat early creative attempts as practice, not performances. Allow mistakes. The value is in the act of creation.
That's difficult, but so important. We're often our own harshest critics.
We are. Another tool is embracing constraints. Limitations can spark creativity. A time limit or a set of materials forces clever solutions within those parameters. It's a puzzle that encourages ingenuity.
So, limits can be a springboard for creativity.
Yes, a springboard. Finally, don't underestimate collaborative creativity. Sharing ideas with trusted friends or colleagues can lead to breakthroughs. Others' perspectives illuminate avenues you might not see alone.
To recap, creativity is an inherent human capacity for everyone. We unlock our reservoir through generative play, seeking novelty, observation, contemplative practices, self-compassion, using constraints, and collaboration.
You've summarized it beautifully. Unlocking your creative reservoir is a shift in mindset, a commitment to playful exploration. It's about recognizing the innovator within and giving that part of yourself freedom to flourish in all areas of your life, leading to a more vibrant and truly alive existence.
It certainly feels foundational to this deeper life. It's about proactive engagement.
Precisely. This creative energy can transform the mundane into the magnificent.
This episode has opened my eyes to our creative potential.
It's been a pleasure, Lisa. Next time, we'll explore the earth beneath our feet, reconnecting with nature. Welcome back. Today, we're reconnecting with nature.
Oh, I love this topic, Alex. It feels so essential, especially when life gets hectic and we feel disconnected. It's like nature is this constant, stable presence we can always return to.
Exactly, Lisa. In our modern lives, so many of us are indoors, shielded from the elements, staring at screens. This disconnect often contributes to that feeling of just existing rather than truly living. Reconnecting with nature isn't just a nice hobby. It's vital for our well-being, for our sense of belonging, and for gaining perspective.
So, how do we even begin to reconnect when maybe we live in a busy city or just don't have a lot of free time? It can feel a bit daunting.
That's a great question, and it's more accessible than you might think. The first step is simply intention. Decide that you want to engage with nature more. Then start small. It doesn't have to be a grand hike every weekend. Think about the small moments. Can you walk to work or a coffee shop and pay attention to the trees along the way? Can you eat your lunch outside, even if it's just on a park bench?
So, it's about shifting our awareness, even in urban environments. I'm picturing noticing the way sunlight filters through leaves, or the different textures of bark.
Precisely. It's about engaging your senses. What do you hear? Bird song, the rustling of leaves, the distant sound of water. What do you smell? Damp earth after rain, blooming flowers, pine needles. What do you feel? The warmth of the sun on your skin, a gentle breeze, the cool grass beneath your feet. This sensory engagement pulls us out of our heads and into the present moment, right here, right now.
That makes sense. When we're constantly thinking about our to-do lists, being bombarded by notifications, our senses kind of get dulled. Nature offers this rich sensory tapestry to pull us back.
And it provides a powerful sense of perspective. When you're standing at the base of a giant tree that stood for hundreds of years, or looking up at a vast night sky, your own worries can seem a little smaller. Nature operates on different timescales. It reminds us that we are part of something much larger and far older than ourselves. This can be incredibly humbling and healing.
I've definitely felt that. Standing by the ocean, for example, the sheer scale of it just makes everything else seem manageable. It's like nature has this inherent wisdom it shares with us if we're open to listening.
It does. And this connection doesn't have to be purely passive observation. You can actively participate. Gardening is a fantastic way to do this. When you plant a seed, nurture it, and watch it grow, you're entering into a partnership with life. You're experiencing the cycles of growth, decay, and renewal firsthand.
That's such a beautiful analogy for life itself, isn't it? The nurturing, the tending, the patience it requires. Even having a few houseplants can start to build that connection.
Absolutely. Or even something as simple as a mindful walk in a local park, paying attention to the details, the pattern of moss on a stone, the intricate design of a fallen leaf. Make it a point to seek out green spaces. If you don't have a park nearby, maybe there's a community garden you can visit, or a riverbank, or even a tree-lined street where you can pause for a moment.
So, we've talked about engaging our senses, seeking perspective, and active participation like gardening. Are there any other ways to consciously cultivate this connection?
Yes, and this is where we can get creative. Consider bringing elements of nature into your home. Fresh flowers, natural materials like wood or stone in your decor. Even opening your windows to let in the fresh air and natural sounds can make a difference. Think about sounds too. There are many ambient nature sound recordings available that can create a peaceful atmosphere.
That's a great point, Alex. It's about creating a bridge between your indoor life and the natural world. It's not an either slash or situation.
Exactly. We need to remember that we are nature. We're not separate from it. Our bodies are made of the same elements, and our well-being is intrinsically linked to the health of the natural world. When we treat nature with respect and care, we are ultimately treating ourselves with respect and care. This sense of belonging to the earth, to the wider ecosystem, is a powerful antidote to feelings of isolation and meaninglessness.
It really is. It's that primal connection we've perhaps lost touch with. To recap, to reconnect with nature, we can begin by being intentional and starting small. We should engage all our senses, seek the perspective that nature offers by recognizing its larger cycles and timescales, and find ways to participate actively through activities like gardening or mindful walks. We can also bring nature into our homes and remember that our own well-being is tied to the health of the planet.
Beautifully put, Lisa. It's about consciously choosing to see, hear, smell, and feel the natural world around us, no matter where we are. This practice cultivates a profound sense of grounding, belonging, and a deeper appreciation for life itself. It's a vital piece of building that truly deeply lived life we're exploring in this series.
I feel so much more inspired to go outside and just be present. Thank you, Alex.
My pleasure. Next episode, we'll explore the fabric of belonging and how to build meaningful community. Welcome back to the Deeper Life Blueprint. Last time, we explored the profound connection we can find with nature. Today, we're diving into something equally vital to our well-being, building meaningful community.
Absolutely, Alex. We've touched on connection before, particularly in episode 4 when we discussed cultivating sacred spaces. But today, it's all about the people. As humans, We're inherently social creatures, and that need for belonging runs deep. It's like a fundamental human blueprint.
Precisely. And the kind of community we're talking about isn't just about having acquaintances or people to pass the time with. It's about building a fabric of belonging. Think of a well-woven tapestry. Each thread, while distinct, contributes to the strength and beauty of the whole. Meaningful community offers us that same kind of support, resilience, and shared purpose.
That's a beautiful image, Alex. So, how do we actually go about finding and nurturing these kinds of communities? It can feel daunting in a world that sometimes feels so disconnected.
It can, but it's definitely achievable. The first step is often understanding what you're looking for. Reflect on what truly nourishes you. What kind of energy do you want to surround yourself with? Are you seeking intellectual stimulation, shared creative passions, mutual support through life's challenges, or a common mission? Knowing this helps you discern where you might find your people.
So, it's about going beyond just proximity and thinking about resonance. If I'm passionate about environmental causes, I'm more likely to find a deeper connection with others who share that passion, rather than someone who doesn't care about the planet.
Exactly. And that connection, that shared belief or passion, becomes the foundation. Once you have a sense of what you're seeking, the next step is intentional exploration. This might mean joining groups that align with your interests, perhaps a book club, a hiking group, a volunteer organization, or even a local workshop. Don't be afraid to try different things.
It's about putting yourself out there, even if it feels a bit vulnerable at first.
Absolutely. And as you explore, look for genuine reciprocity. In a truly meaningful community, there's a give and take. People listen actively, they offer support without judgment, and they celebrate your successes as if they were their own. You'll notice a feeling of ease, a sense of being truly seen and accepted.
That sounds like a community where you can be your authentic self, flaws and all. It's not about putting on a performance.
Precisely. And building on that, remember the principles of mindful communication we touched on in episode 4. Active listening, empathy, and honest expression are crucial here. When you engage with new people, be curious. Ask open-ended questions. Share your own experiences and vulnerabilities appropriately. This is how trust is built, thread by thread.
So, it's not just about finding the right group, but also about actively participating in its growth and health. Are there specific practices we can adopt to nurture these communities once we've found them?
Yes, absolutely. Consistency is key. Show up regularly. Make an effort to connect with individuals within a group. Small gestures, like remembering someone's birthday or offering help with a task, go a long way. And be a positive contributor. Offer your skills, your time, and your positive energy. Remember, a community is a living entity. It thrives on consistent care.
It's like tending a garden, isn't it? You have to water it, weed it, and make sure it gets enough sunlight.
That's a perfect analogy, Lisa. And sometimes challenges will arise. Disagreements can happen, and that's normal. The strength of a community is often revealed in how it navigates these rough patches. Healthy communities address conflict with respect and a shared commitment to finding resolution rather than letting resentments fester.
So, it's not about avoiding conflict, but about handling it constructively?
Exactly. It requires a willingness to be open, to understand different perspectives, and to compromise when necessary. It's about reinforcing that shared fabric, even when there are temporary snags. And remember, not every community will be a perfect fit forever. People grow and change, and sometimes our paths diverge. It's okay to seek out new communities as your needs evolve.
That's important to remember. It's not a lifelong commitment to every single group, but a dynamic process of connection. So, to recap, we're encouraging listeners to first identify what they're seeking in a community, what values resonate with them. Then, to explore intentionally, joining groups that align with those values.
And once you find a potential community, nurture it through consistent presence, genuine engagement, mindful communication, and by being a positive contributor. Be prepared to navigate challenges constructively, and recognize that your own needs for community might evolve over time. Building this fabric of belonging is an ongoing, rewarding journey. This is how we move beyond just existing to truly living.
It really emphasizes that we're not meant to go through life alone. Having supportive people around us enriches every aspect of our existence.
It truly does. So, as you reflect on your own life, consider where you can weave in more threads of meaningful connection. Next episode, we'll be looking inward again, exploring the compass within and how to align with your purpose. Welcome back to the Deeper Life Blueprint. Last time, we explored the fabric of belonging and building meaningful community. Today, we're diving into something profoundly personal yet universally important. Episode 9, The Compass Within, Aligning with Your Purpose.
That's right, Alex. We've spent time excavating our inner landscape and cultivating connections. Now, it's time to look inward and find that guiding star, that inner compass that points us toward our unique purpose. It's about moving from just existing to truly living, isn't it?
Exactly, Lisa. Purpose isn't some grand, abstract notion reserved for a select few. It's the deeply ingrained reason for your being, the unique contribution you're here to make. Think of it like this. Your life is a journey, and your purpose is the destination that gives the journey meaning and direction. Without that compass, we're just drifting.
Drifting. I really resonate with that. So, how do we even begin to find this compass, this purpose? It can feel like a daunting task.
It can, but it doesn't have to be. The first step is really about self-discovery and introspection. Remember when we talked about excavating your inner landscape in episode 2? This is where that work pays off. We need to understand our core values, our passions, and our innate talents. What genuinely excites you, even if it's something small? What activities make you lose track of time?
So, it's about paying attention to what lights us up from the inside. Not necessarily what looks impressive or what others expect, but what truly resonates with us.
Precisely. And it's also about understanding your strengths. What are you naturally good at? Not just academically or professionally, but in your interactions, in problem solving, in creative endeavors. Sometimes our purpose lies in simply being our best selves and applying those inherent gifts. Imagine a carpenter being brilliant with wood. Their purpose might involve creating beautiful, functional things with their hands. Or a natural communicator might find purpose in helping others share their stories.
That makes sense. So, we identify our passions and our strengths. What's next in tuning into our inner compass?
The next piece is looking at the needs of the world around you. Where do your passions and strengths intersect with what the world needs? This intersection is a powerful indicator of your purpose. Think about problems you care about, communities you want to serve, or causes that stir your soul. Your purpose often involves bringing your unique gifts to bear on something beyond yourself.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where what you love to do and what you're good at meets a genuine need in the world. That's a fantastic way to frame it. It makes it less about a singular job and more about a calling.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to understand that purpose isn't a static destination. It's a dynamic force that can evolve over time. What feels like your purpose in your 20s might shift and deepen in your 40s or 60s. It's important to remain open to that evolution. This alignment with your purpose isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice.
That's reassuring because sometimes people feel a lot of pressure to find the one thing and then stick with it forever. Knowing it can evolve makes it feel more accessible. So, we've identified potential areas of purpose. How do we actually align with it in our daily lives, especially when life gets busy?
This is where we bring it into practice, much like we discussed with daily rituals in our earlier episodes. Aligning with your purpose means making conscious choices that reflect your deepest values and your sense of calling. It's about integrating those insights into your everyday actions, even the small ones. It's asking yourself, does this choice move me closer to or further away from my sense of purpose?
So, it's not just a grand idea we ponder, but something we actively live out, moment by moment.
Exactly. It might mean saying no to opportunities that don't serve your purpose, even if they offer short-term benefits. It might mean saying yes to something challenging that aligns with your calling. It's about making your daily life a reflection of your deepest self. For example, if your purpose revolves around nurturing and growth, that might manifest in how you parent, how you mentor colleagues, or even how you tend your garden.
That's a beautiful way to look at it. So, when we talk about aligning, it's about making conscious decisions that honor our inner compass. And it permeates all aspects of our lives, not just our careers.
Yes. Now let's briefly recap. We talked about identifying your purpose by understanding your core values, your passions, and your innate talents. We then looked at the intersection of these with the needs of the world. And finally, we discussed how to actively align with your purpose by making conscious choices in your daily life. Remember, purpose gives your journey meaning. It provides direction.
And it's not about a singular destination, but an evolving guiding force. So, to recap for our listeners, identify what truly lights you up, what you're good at, and what the world needs. Then, make choices that honor that sweet spot. Your purpose is your inner compass, guiding you towards a life of true meaning and contribution.
Indeed, this step is incredibly empowering because it shifts us from being passive recipients of life to active co-creators of our experience. When you're aligned with your purpose, your actions gain momentum, and your life gains a profound sense of fulfillment.
It truly is the key to moving from just existing to truly living. It provides that deep anchor that helps us navigate the inevitable challenges life throws our way.
And that's a perfect segue into our next episode. We'll build upon this foundation of purpose to consciously design a life that truly resonates.
Thanks for listening.
Welcome back. Last time, we explored how to find your inner compass and align with your purpose. Now, let's build on that by talking about the architecture of intent and how to craft your deeper life.
That sounds like a really powerful next step, Alex. So, we've spent a lot of time understanding ourselves, our values, and our purpose. How does that translate into actually building a life that reflects all of that? Crafting a deeper life.
Exactly. Think of it like this. You have the raw materials, your values, your purpose, your understanding of what truly matters. Now we need to design the blueprint, the architecture, for your life so that it actively supports and expresses those deeper aspects. It's about moving from knowing to doing, from internal awareness to external reality.
So, it's not just about having these great realizations, but actively designing your days, your choices, your environment to match them.
Precisely. The architecture of intent means we are intentionally designing our lives. We're not just letting things happen to us, we are actively shaping what happens for us. This involves making conscious choices, big and small, that align with our deepest aspirations. Remember when we talked about distinguishing true living from shallow pursuits? This is where that distinction becomes a design principle.
That makes sense. So, where do we begin when we want to architect our deeper life? It can feel a bit overwhelming.
A great starting point is to revisit your core values and your defined purpose, which we covered in the last episode. What are those non-negotiables for you? What direction does your purpose point you in? Once you have a clear picture of those, you can start to look at the different rooms or structures in your life and assess how well they serve these fundamentals.
Like, are my relationships supporting my values? Is my work a good expression of my purpose? Is my free time filling me up or draining me?
You've hit the nail on the head, Lisa. It's about a holistic review. We can think of this blueprint in a few key areas. First, your relationships. Are the people you surround yourself with uplifting, supportive, and aligned with the kind of life you want to create? Or are they holding you back? Intentionally cultivating relationships that foster your deeper life is crucial. We're building a community of support. Remember that?
Right? Episode 8. Building that fabric of belonging. So, actively choosing who you share your energy with. That's a powerful design choice. What else is part of this architecture?
Next, consider your daily practices and routines. These are the foundational elements of your days, the smallest structural components. Are your daily rituals, from how you wake up to how you spend your breaks, to how you wind down, designed to nurture your well-being and move you closer to your goals? Or are they simply habits that keep you busy but unfulfilled? We touched on this in episode 5 with contemplative practices, and we'll dive deeper into rituals in episode 11. But the design principle here is to be very intentional.
So, a ritual isn't just something you do, it's something you design to have a specific, positive impact. Like creating a sacred space for connection, as we discussed back in episode 4.
Exactly. And that ties into your environment. Your physical surroundings, your home, your workspace play a huge role in shaping your experience and your capacity for deeper living. Is your space orderly and calming, or chaotic and distracting? Does it inspire you or drain you? Designing your environment to be a supportive backdrop for your intentions is a significant architectural choice. Imagine your living space as a canvas, and you're painting it with intention.
That's a lovely metaphor. A supportive environment can truly make a difference. So we have relationships, routines, and environment. What about our activities and how we spend our time and energy?
That's the next major pillar, your activities and pursuits. This includes your work, your hobbies, your learning, and your leisure. Are you allocating your precious time and energy to activities that are meaningful, that allow you to express your unique talents, and that you find genuinely engaging? Or are you stuck in a cycle of doing things that feel obligatory and uninspiring? This is where your creativity reservoir, which we explored in episode 6, comes into play. Are you designing time for activities that tap into that creativity?
It's like we're building a life that actively serves our deeper self, rather than one that demands we constantly sacrifice that deeper self for the sake of busyness.
Precisely. And to do this effectively, we need a mechanism for making these design choices. I like to think of this as your intentional living framework. It's a personal system for deciding what aligns and what doesn't. When faced with a decision or an opportunity, ask yourself, does this choice support my core values? Does it move me closer to my purpose? Does it build the life I'm architecting?
So, it's like a personal filter. Before you say yes to something, or before you commit your energy, you run it through this framework.
Very much so. And this framework isn't static. Life changes, we grow, our understanding deepens. So, regular review and adjustment of your architectural plans are essential. This is where the idea of mindful engagement comes in. It's about being present with your choices and their consequences, and being willing to tweak the blueprints as needed. This is the crafting part. It's an ongoing, adaptive process.
So, to summarize, Alex, we're talked about moving from understanding our values and purpose to actively designing our lives around them. This involves intentionally shaping our relationships, our daily practices and routines, our physical environment, and our activities and pursuits. And we need a personal framework, an intentional living framework, to guide these design choices and allow for ongoing adjustments.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. You've grasped the core of architecting your deeper life. It's about conscious creation, building a life that is a true reflection of your inner landscape. It's about living with deep intention in every aspect.
It truly feels like we're moving towards living more authentically and with greater meaning with each step.
And that's the ultimate goal. Next episode, we'll dive into crafting daily rituals specifically to foster this sense of radical aliveness we've been building towards. Welcome back. Last time, we explored the architecture of intention. Now let's tackle daily rituals for radical aliveness.
That's right, Alex. Intentions are great, but rituals are how we live them out. They are the building blocks of our days, the small, consistent actions that lead to profound shifts.
Absolutely. Think of rituals not as chores, but as anchors. They pull us back to ourselves, to the present moment, and to what truly matters. They transform the mundane into the meaningful. Let's start with a foundational one, the morning ritual.
The morning ritual. It's easy to grab our phones and get swept into the urgency of a day before we've even oriented ourselves.
Exactly. But imagine starting your day with calm and intention. It doesn't have to be complicated. It might be 5 minutes of quiet reflection, just sitting with a cup of tea, noticing your breath. It's about creating a pocket of stillness before the world's demands flood in.
So, it's about setting the tone for your day, rather than letting the day's demands dictate your internal state. I like that. What about incorporating something more active?
Great question. Moving your body is incredibly powerful. This doesn't mean running a marathon. It could be a short walk, some gentle stretching, or a few yoga poses. The key is to connect with your physical self, to awaken your body and boost your energy healthily. This physical awakening can mirror our inner awakening.
That makes sense. So, the morning ritual is about grounding ourselves, creating stillness, and then gently energizing our bodies. What about rituals throughout the rest of the day? How do we keep that sense of aliveness when we're in the thick of things?
This is where we can sprinkle moments of conscious attention. One powerful ritual is mindful eating. So often we eat on the go distracted. Taking 10 minutes to truly savor your meal, noticing the colors, smells, textures, and tastes can be a deeply grounding experience. It's a moment of pure presence.
Mindful eating. I can see how that flips the script on a rushed meal. It transforms eating from a mechanical act into an experience. What else can we integrate?
How about a transition ritual? When you move from one activity to another, say from work to home, create a small pause. This could be as simple as taking 3 deep breaths, listening to a favorite song, or stepping outside for a minute. It's about consciously shedding the energy of the previous activity before diving into the next. This helps prevent that feeling of always being overwhelmed.
A transition ritual. I love that. It's like a mini mental reset button. It acknowledges that different parts of our lives require different energies, and we need a deliberate way to shift between them. So, we have morning rituals for grounding and energy, mindful eating for presence, and transition rituals for fluid movement through the day.
Precisely. And don't forget the power of connecting with nature. Even 5 minutes spent looking at a tree, noticing the sky, or feeling the breeze can be a ritual. In our busy lives, we often forget we are part of a larger ecosystem. Reintegrating these natural connections grounds us and reminds us of our place in the world. It's a powerful way to counteract the artificiality of modern life.
That's a beautiful point, Alex. It's easy to feel disconnected when we're indoors all day. So, a quick nature break can be a really potent ritual. What about evening rituals? How do we wind down and prepare for rest?
The evening ritual is crucial for preparing our minds and bodies for restorative sleep. It's about signaling to yourself that the day's work is done and it's time to enter a state of rest. This might involve reading a physical book, journaling, taking a warm bath, or practicing some light stretching. The goal is to move away from stimulating activities.
So, putting away screens an hour or so before bed becomes part of that evening ritual. It's about creating a buffer zone between the demands of the day and the needs of your body for rest and recovery.
Exactly. And on the theme of journaling, a daily gratitude practice can be incredibly potent. At the end of the day, or even during a quiet moment, jotting down 3 things you're grateful for. This simple act shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, fostering a positive outlook. Gratitude is a powerful ritual for recalibrating our emotional state.
Gratitude is so fundamental. It's like a constant reminder that even on challenging days, there are still bright spots to acknowledge. It helps to combat negativity bias. So, to recap our discussion on daily rituals for radical aliveness, we've talked about establishing intentional morning rituals to set a calm and energized tone, practicing mindful eating to anchor ourselves in the present moment during meals, creating transition rituals to consciously shift between different activities, and incorporating moments of nature connection to ground us.
We also touched upon evening rituals to prepare for restful sleep, moving away from stimulating activities. And finally, the simple yet powerful practice of gratitude, journaling to cultivate a positive mindset. The core idea, Lisa, is that these aren't just random actions. They are deliberate, repeatable practices designed to infuse your day with meaning, presence, and connection. They're the conscious choices that turn mere existence into true living.
It's about curating your day rather than just letting it happen to you. By weaving these deliberate practices into our lives, we can foster a profound sense of aliveness, even amidst the ordinary. It's where the blueprint truly comes to life, day by day.
Next episode, we'll be navigating the deeper waters, discussing challenges and sustaining momentum. Welcome back to the Deeper Life Blueprint. Last time, we explored crafting daily rituals for radical aliveness. Now we're navigating the deeper waters, discussing challenges and sustaining momentum.
It's true, Alex. That initial burst of inspiration can fade. What are the biggest hurdles people face on this path?
Inertia is a major one. Life demands pull us back to old habits. Self-doubt also creeps in, leading to comparisons. Are we doing enough? Are we on the right track?
I know that feeling well. And what about outside pressures? Doesn't the world sometimes resist our efforts to live differently?
Absolutely. Societal expectations, work, and family can feel overwhelming. Sometimes people react to our changes because it highlights their own patterns. Community, which we discussed in episode 8, becomes vital for support.
So, when we face inertia, self-doubt, or external pressures, how do we stay resilient and keep that inspiration alive?
Acknowledge that challenges are normal, not a sign of failure. Cultivate self-compassion. Instead of criticizing yourself for missing a practice, ask what you can learn or what you need. This reframes difficulty as growth. It's that embracing of imperfection we talked about earlier.
Self-compassion is key, being a kind friend to yourself. How do we reignite the spark when it dims?
Revisit your why. Remember your purpose from episode 9. What was the core desire that started this journey? Recalling that foundational purpose is a powerful catalyst. Also, celebrate small wins. These build confidence and momentum.
Like tending a garden then. Some days are tough, but you keep nurturing it.
Exactly. And reconnecting with nature, as we explored in episode 7, is incredibly grounding. A walk, time by water, or looking at the sky can shift perspective.
So, we have acknowledging challenges, self-compassion, remembering our why, celebrating small wins, and nature. What else helps sustain momentum?
Seek out inspiration intentionally. Reread books that moved you, listen to uplifting content, or connect with others on a similar path. Your community from episode 8 offers invaluable support. Knowing you're not alone is powerful.
Finding your tribe is essential. And what if we feel like we've taken a step backward? Can we get back on track?
It's more than possible. It's expected. Think of it as a spiral, revisiting themes with more awareness. When you notice a slip, pause. Do a brief check-in, like we discussed in episode 2. What triggered the shift? What unmet need is present? Addressing the root is key.
So, it's about being observant and responsive, not critical. Does navigating these challenges actually make the deeper life more fulfilling?
Absolutely. Overcoming obstacles builds resilience and self-trust. Each challenge met strengthens inner resolve and deepens appreciation for peace. The deeper life isn't about avoiding difficulty. It's about developing the capacity to meet it with grace. It's learning to dance with life's unpredictability.
Learning to dance with life. What a wonderful image. So, to recap, we've covered common challenges like inertia and self doubt, and strategies like self compassion, reconnecting with our purpose, celebrating small wins, and embracing nature. Seeking inspiration and community are also vital, and overcoming challenges deepens our fulfillment.
Indeed, the journey is ongoing. These challenges are opportunities for growth, deepening our resilience and integration. They're the currents that guide us.
This has been so insightful. Thank you, Alex.
My pleasure. Remember, sustainment is about conscious effort, gentle self-guidance, and the commitment to show up for yourself day after day, challenge after challenge. Next episode, The Living Legacy, You as the Blueprint. Welcome back. This episode explores you as the blueprint for a truly deep and meaningful life.
It's episode 13, and we're reflecting on our incredible journey. We've explored our inner landscapes, balanced true living with shallow pursuits, and cultivated sacred spaces for connection. We've embraced contemplation, unlocked creativity, and reconnected with nature. We've built community, found our purpose, and designed our days with intention.
Throughout this series, the core message is that this isn't about following rigid instructions, but about understanding principles and building your own unique, deeper life. You are the architect, the builder, and the inhabitant. All the tools we've discussed are your materials and design principles. You're the one holding the tools and the plans.
So, as the blueprint, are we the finished product or still under construction?
You are, and always will be both. You are the living testament to the principles we've explored. The living legacy is what you embody now. It's how you show up, the choices you make, the energy you project. Your ongoing evolution is the blueprint.
So, it's about continuous creation, not reaching a final destination. This feels like building something beautiful and authentic within the clear inner space we discussed in episode 2.
Exactly. And the blueprint isn't static, it's dynamic. Each experience, lesson, and reflection refines it. You're constantly drawing and redrawing, adding new elements, reinforcing foundations, and beautifying structure.
How does being the blueprint help us with the challenges we discussed in episode 12?
When you see yourself as the blueprint, challenges aren't flaws, they're opportunities to strengthen the structure. They are the unforeseen circumstances a good architect accounts for. A setback becomes a chance to innovate and make the entire structure more resilient. You become the master builder of your own experience.
That shifts the perspective. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, we can approach challenges with confidence, knowing we have the capacity to adapt. It's about trusting our inner wisdom, the compass we found in episode 9.
Precisely. The living legacy is also about impact. When you're living your deepest life, authentically, you naturally inspire others. You become a living example, a blueprint for them. Your energy in relationships, work, and community. That's the legacy you build.
It's like ripples spreading from a stone. Our deep living creates positive ripples outwards. This ties together threads from the series, cultivating sacred spaces in episode 4, building community in episode 8, finding purpose in episode 9.
And it circles back to episode 1, moving beyond the existential home. By embracing yourself as the blueprint, you are constantly filling that void, ensuring your life resonates with meaning and aliveness. You are moving from existing to truly living.
For listeners feeling inspired but perhaps daunted by being their own blueprint, what's the first step they can take right now?
Start small. Revisit one of the daily rituals for radical aliveness from episode 11. Perhaps a mindful morning tea or a short walk. Engage with it fully, not as a chore, but as an act of creative expression. See it as one deliberate stroke on your blueprint. Notice how it feels and let that inform your next choice.
That's practical advice. It's about consistent, intentional action, even in small moments. It reinforces that this journey is ongoing. We are always learning and building.
Absolutely. This is not a one and done process. You are the living legacy, the blueprint that is eternally under construction, always capable of greater beauty, strength, and purpose. Every moment is an opportunity to add a new detail, refine a line, bring more of your fullest self into being.
It's a profound empowerment, Alex. To realize the power to create a deeper, more meaningful life rests entirely within us, and that we are the living embodiment of that design. You are the blueprint and the beautiful, ever-evolving masterpiece.
Indeed, as we approach the end of our series, reflecting on you being the blueprint is a perfect way to understand that the work doesn't stop here. This episode emphasizes internalizing that agency and recognizing that your deeper life is a continuous, self-authored creation.
So, we've talked about you being the blueprint, the architect, the builder, and the living legacy. You are the constant in your own life, capable of shaping it into something extraordinary through ongoing intention and action.
That brings us to the final step in our journey through the deeper life blueprint. Next episode, synthesis and the ongoing invitation to true living. Welcome back to the Deeper Life Blueprint. This is our 14th and final episode.
It's hard to believe we've reached the end of our journey together. We've explored so many profound ideas over the past 13 episodes.
Indeed, Lisa. And in this final episode, our goal is to bring it all together. We'll synthesize the key concepts we've discussed, reinforce the core message of truly living, and offer a final invitation to continue this practice. This series has been about building a blueprint, a framework for a more meaningful existence.
So, think of this episode as a grand tour of everything we've covered, a way to see how all the pieces fit. We started by looking inward, didn't we, Alex? In the early episodes, we peeled back the layers of our everyday lives.
That's right. The first episode set the stage for questioning the surface level existence. We talked about that subtle feeling of unease, that hum that suggests there might be more to life. Then, in the second episode, we began that crucial work of self-discovery.
And that led us to episode 3, where we learned to distinguish between true living and shallow pursuits. We learned to identify what truly nourishes our souls versus what's merely a distraction. It's about making choices that align with our deeper selves.
Precisely. Once we understood our inner landscape and could distinguish between true living and its opposite, we started building the outward structures. Episode 4 was about cultivating sacred spaces for connection, creating environments, both physical and mental, that foster this deeper life.
And part of creating those sacred spaces involved developing our inner practices. Remember episode 5, where we delved into embracing contemplative practices. That's where we learned to meditate and practice mindfulness, learning to inhabit the present moment.
It's all connected. From quiet contemplation, we naturally moved to episode 6, unlocking your creative reservoir. We saw how inner peace and self-awareness can unleash our innate creativity, allowing us to express ourselves more authentically.
Then, We shifted our focus outward again, but with a connected perspective. Episode 7 reminded us of our fundamental link to the natural world. It's a grounding force for true living.
Absolutely. And from that grounded perspective, we explored the human element in episode 8, the fabric of belonging. We discovered the profound importance of genuine connection with others.
Episode 9 was a pivotal moment. We learned to attune ourselves to our internal compass, finding direction and meaning in our lives. It's about understanding what drives you at a fundamental level.
And with that compass, we could begin consciously designing our lives in episode 10, the architecture of intent. We learned to be intentional in our choices, building a life that reflects our deepest values and aspirations.
This intentionality then translated into daily action in episode 11, Daily Rituals for Radical Aliveness. We explored how small, consistent practices can infuse our everyday lives with vitality and depth.
But life isn't always smooth sailing. In episode 12, Navigating the Deeper Waters, we addressed the inevitable obstacles and offered strategies for staying the course. True living is a practice, not a destination, and it requires resilience.
And finally, in episode 13, The Living Legacy, we saw ourselves not just as individuals living deeply, but as the very template for our own lives, capable of shaping our experience and leaving a positive mark.
So, to synthesize, the blueprint for truly living is built on a foundation of self-awareness, discerning what matters, and cultivating an inner life. This allows us to create supportive environments, engage in mindful practices, and tap into our creativity.
It's about reconnecting with nature and building authentic community, all guided by our inner purpose. We then intentionally craft our lives and establish rituals that keep us vibrant while developing the resilience to overcome challenges. And ultimately, we recognize our own power to be the blueprint.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach. Every episode has built upon the last, creating a comprehensive understanding of how to move from a superficial existence to one of profound depth and meaning. True living isn't a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process, a continuous invitation to explore, to grow, and to connect.
So, what's the final invitation, Alex? How do we continue this journey now that the series is complete?
The invitation is to simply keep practicing, to revisit these themes in your own life, to ask yourself those distinguishing questions daily, to nurture your inner landscape and your connections, to be intentional in your actions. True living is about showing up fully, consistently, and with an open heart. It's a commitment to living each day with awareness, purpose, and vibrancy.
It's about embracing the process, the continuous evolution. It's a living legacy we create with every choice.
Precisely. And with that, we've reached the conclusion of the Deeper Life Blueprint. Thank you for joining us on this exploration. We hope this series has equipped you with the tools and the inspiration to live a truly deeper life.
Thank you all for listening. We've thoroughly enjoyed sharing this journey with you. Let this be the beginning of a lifelong practice of truly living.
Thanks for listening to the series.